Right.
And so
Guys, we should totally do the 5
Here
thing.
we are.
5,
Hi.
4.
It's already on.
I know that. Start.
Hey, everybody.
Guys,
Hi.
nobody wants to sing with Ray.
Hello.
Merlin, chill.
Welcome to the Wayward Sisters. And look, hey, all the Wayward Sisters are not so wayward.
There's more than just one of us? What?
No, right?
way.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
obviously,
know.
for our little vlogging thing, I've been the only one contributing and being a team player.
Well,
I just
And there's
remembered
no
the
I
email
in
used
team
for the account.
here, Phoenix. There is no I in team.
There is me, however.
Well, clearly
Whatever.
not. There's no Alec. There's no Applebane and whatever your name is.
That's so
It's been gone so long we
funny.
forgot what her name was.
I drive 5 hours to see you.
And reviews are like this.
Okay,
anyway.
We are talking about Hunger Games, the most recent movie that we both have seen, and
Both.
We are English. No, she's an English major.
we all have seen. When I say both, just assume it's all.
Yeah, we're a collective
You
unit.
just say we.
We all have the same soul. This is what's going down
That would
here.
just be singular then.
Shut
I
up.
don't understand why you got 2.
Okay.
Anyway.
we're getting off topic.
Semantics.
We're good at that.
And we did the whole tamale. We dressed up. We went to the midnight showing. I dressed up as Katniss.
Girl on fire.
She dressed up as
particularly.
Sinis. She dressed up as Effie. And
It was a good time.
it was so much. We were also there were a lot of high schoolers, and we were like the only ones dressed up. Excepting a couple of other people, and it was kind of like at first it was kind of awkward, but then it was kind of awesome because.
Did you notice most of the other people who were dressed up that were in college too? Like we had a grad student and some
We
freshmen. We were kind of like, yeah!
We looked fantastic.
College kids for the win.
Yes, we did.
We were great, and it was great. Like I loved it.
It's
Face
probably
zone off.
one of the best book to film adaptations I honestly have seen.
I agree.
It's right up there with To Kill a Mockingbird, and that's possibly the highest praise you can get
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, by the way, for the shadow going on over here, but
Being creeper face.
thank you.
Yeah.
Look, we have a bonnet now.
Anyway.
Well, now you can see my eyes at least, so it's a little less creepy. But seriously, really amazing.
It was
And
phenomenal.
First of all, before we go into stuff, is when you take a book and you make it into a movie, you're going to have to expect that there will be changes because some things do not translate well on screen as they do in book. It's two different mediums, so
Yes.
you got to prepare yourself.
And at the same time, you have to take it with a grain of salt and realize that you have quite the opportunity to. There are things that you can accomplish in the film that you just couldn't in the book. And one of the awesome things is with the book having the theme of it being a television show, they really had a big opportunity. And I really think that they seized that opportunity. I'm really happy.
I agree with that. I think one of the most difficult things, the reason I was kind of, when I first heard about the movie before any of the trailers or anything came out, the reason I was most skeptical of it was because the book is told in first person. You get a lot of internal monologuing, you get a lot of internal thought from Katniss herself that you cannot really get on screen unless you're doing some kind of very weird new wavy narrator thing, which, I don't think would work in this case.
It would get nauseating.
Yeah, it would get
really
nauseating.
quick.
But like they said, you can achieve different things in. I think they definitely utilized, like you said.
They really did.
The theme of it being a television show to kind of show us things
all
that
three
you
of
couldn't
us-
see from Katniss' point of view.
All three of us have read all 3 books. We're big fans.
Big book fans.
There are sweethearts here, by the way.
Yeah, that's
Just so you know.
That's what I'm gnashing on. Sorry, guys. First, I think it worked really well in film because, first of all, Suzanne Collins was a screenwriter.
Yeah, that was
And secondly,
big help, unlike other films.
television and media was a giant part of the books.
Of the books.
Yeah, the Hunger Games. It was all seen through the lens of a reality TV show.
Yeah.
And you see how it's juxtaposed between the way that people in the districts are living and the way the capital lives, and they really accomplished that juxtaposition.
Which, because for
in the movie, because you see just this opulence. I mean, just this simple transition between the reaping in District 12 to them going on that train, and just how
the difference of
opulent it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost made you sick,
that's a good word.
and
Yeah,
you
it
realize
really does.
that's the stark contrast.
Well, and one
it's
of the,
really incredible how
things
they
in
achieved
that, kind of going off of that I really appreciated about it, was what the Hunger Games stands for to the districts in the book. She talks about it. You know what it stands for, but you know what it stands for to the Capitol. It was interesting to see it In the districts, it is propaganda they're forced to watch. They don't want to watch this thing. However, in the Capitol, it's the biggest thing. It's the latest thing. It's what everyone's talking about.
It's Roman Coliseum.
It really is.
Absolutely.
It is
all the way.
to see the difference in how it is treated.
Yeah.
The difference between propaganda and entertainment. I think that they did a very good job of.
I mean,
kind of working with that aspect too.
Something I was worried about is I'm okay with reading violence, but I'm not okay with seeing it. I'm a very visual person, so I was kind of worried about the bloodbath, and I was kind of worried about the amount of gore that I would have to deal with because it was very brutal.
It's a brutal book.
It's very vicious.
Brutal. And the other issue you have is because it's a book that's meant for young adults. It's meant for children. I mean, 12, 13-year-olds I've heard of reading these books, which I would say go for it. And that is a difficult balance to accomplish. You still have to have it's brutal, but at the same time
it's hard.
You've got to balance it with
rating
age appropriate. My brother is 12 years old, and I felt like it is. He's very mature for his age, but I felt like if it had been, that was one of my big concerns. If it had been the way that it was in the book, I don't think my parents would have felt comfortable letting him see that film. You know what I mean? I don't blame them. So I really liked how it was shot, how they did that, how it happened almost in real time. It was so fast that I know one of the complaints and reviews that I've read is they say you don't even realize who's killing who. In real life, that's how it is. It happened so fast. I think the entire bloodbath was over in 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so fast. You know, that I think it actually gave it an aspect to...
It was really well shot.
Yeah, I think it just gave it an aspect of...
it adds realism.
Reality to it.
Yeah, exactly, because you think about, that terror in the reaping, when everybody's waiting for their names to be called, and you think about, okay, if Prim had been, Prim easily could have been, she sort of is a symbol of sort of like that innocence and whatnot, and she easily could, you look at Rue, for example, these children are terrified, they're kids. And
they're babies, they're children.
And it happens so fast, you don't know what's going on, and I think they really captured that.
I really agree.
And I liked how, I think there was I don't remember what it was, but there was sort of almost a silence during the bloodbath, or there may have been one single chord of music going on.
There wasn't.
But it was almost like you could hear the blood rushing through as Katniss is running.
I was going to say, I think they did that.
It's like it's there, but you kind of feel like you're Katniss and you're tunnel visioned, and you're thinking Spag Woods, and you're tuning everything out. You're
hearing Hamish's voice, get to high ground, get to water.
Right. But you're just tunnel visioned, which I thought it was really great.
I think that was one of my favorite scenes. Is definitely the bloodbath.
I think they did a decent job, and again, I think this is because Suzanne Collins was one of the writers. I felt like there was an appropriate balance of the stuff that really did not need to be in the film. Either it would have lagged the film, it would have just added extra stuff that we loved in the book, but it's just you have to. There's so much time you have. There's only so much time. Yeah. I thought there was a good balance.
I agree.
They didn't introduce stuff in other adaptations where there'll be scenes that where did this come from? This has something to do with, but they didn't do that. They had, and I also felt like there were times where some slight adjustments to the storyline, if you will, such as the Mockingjay Pen. I know not everybody is a total fan of it, and I realize that it's going to help down the road with the way it was in the book, but you know what? I like how it was a symbol, not only, in the moment for this movie, it was a symbol of Prim.
It really was. Which really is what it goes back to. That's really what started, that's why she went, was Prim. Prim is really kind of a solid factor in all of this, and I liked that they focused it on her. She's the whole
reason she went in the first place.
I like that they focused the film on her relationship with Prim.
And also, I think they made decisions that somebody who hasn't, we've all obviously read the books, but I know people who didn't read the books, who watched it and appreciated the movie. There were lots of fun little treats that if you have read the books, you will see it. You'll be like, Buttercup made a cameo. There are things like that where you like it, but you know what? You don't have to, I don't think you would have had to have read the books to enjoy this movie.
Yeah. I agree. And, the casting was great. I was... When they first cast Jennifer Lawrence, I looked her up on Google, and she was this blonde-haired, kind of waifish girl, and I was like, that is not Katniss. But then I watched the movie, and Jennifer Lawrence, just very easily just became the character. It was
Yeah.
really incredible to watch.
It's incredible
Yeah.
to see somebody who can
be
themselves, and then
she acts so much
Yeah.
even in her words
Really.
than in her face. And
That's
I think
a mark of a good
she was a fantastic choice simply because, like we said before, the book is in first person, but there's so much that she conveys in her acting that you see in her face,
body language,
that you see in her body
facial
language,
expression.
that she doesn't have to
Absolutely.
speak outright.
Absolutely.
And I think that was really well
and
done.
Katniss is a very complicated, hard character.
She is
and,
very, very deep.
One of my favorite things about the books is the different kinds of varied female characters, and
Yeah.
I think what I like most about the Hunger Games book and movie is their gender was never made a giant friggin' deal out of. It wasn't, this is a strong female character.
Yeah.
Look, we have
Look
the
at
token
us.
strong
We have
female.
a token strong female. We have an FF toy, a fighting fuck toy. That's stolen from Femme Freak.
But yeah, yeah.
I like that. I like that it's not made a big deal out of, because
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to...
It was very nice that she was a
Forward
strong
that kind of
character.
Mhm.
She wasn't a strong female character. She was a strong character who just happened to be female.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you look at... in later books, we'll meet Johanna Mason, who has a different type of strength than Katniss.
Yeah.
We'll meet
Mags.
Mags, who also has a different type.
Annie.
Annie Cresta.
Annie Cresta.
They're
Well, even
all-
Madge. I mean,
Yeah.
And it's just it's really cool to see that. I think it's cool and it's rare.
Yeah, it really is. I just think the characters overall were really well done.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of the characters that a lot of people had a problem with when he was cast was Lenny Kravitz playing Cinna. Now Cinna is near and dear to most of us, I myself included. Cinna's my favorite.
Hence her dressing.
Yeah, Cinna's my favorite because I feel like Cinna is a fantastic example of a writer who uses what would otherwise be a minor character and makes him huge. Cinna, if you have read the books, Cinna is essentially the one that starts it all. He gets the wheel rolling. He creates a symbol of the rebellion, and he becomes almost in Katniss's mind kind of the starting point, he's the spark, which I think Suzanne Collins did a really good job of making he's the one that made the girl on fire.
If Katniss
He's
is
the
the girl
spark.
on fire, he's the
the
match.
spark. Yeah, he's the match. And I loved the way that Lenny Kravitz played him. At first, when he first introduced, the first thing he said, he just started
went
talking.
right into it.
And I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that. But then 30 seconds later, I was like, I really like what he's doing because he goes to her immediately. He doesn't people in the Capitol almost look at her like she's a freak, and he doesn't treat her that way.
Right.
He tells her, I'm sorry this happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
He treats her like a human being, and I really like the way that he conveyed it. One of the most powerful scenes, I think, in the entire film was when she's getting ready to go up in the arena, and she comes in and she's shaking, and there was no words really passed between them, but she goes straight into his arms, and they pin on him holding onto the back of his shirt, just clutching her, holding on to her. And I think that was really powerful. It was well shot, and it conveys a lot of the emotions that you hear from Katniss in the book.
We're going to stop here for a second and make this a two-parter review because we're pressed for time, but
Yeah.
just
Stay
hang
tuned.
tight. We will be here.
We'll be back.
Bye-bye.
All right.